In our last episode, we talked about the things we love, the secrets we found out about our RV and RV living. You can actually save money being in an RV if you plan right. We saved a lot of money and we have a much bigger patio here. Have you found a secret with your RV? Yeah. Hi, I'm Mark and this is Rebecca.
We are
RV'r Flottante.
Welcome back to our channel.
Yeah.
And thank you for subscribing to our channel.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yes.
In our last episode, we talked about the things we love, the secrets we found out about our RV and RV living, how to live your life better and to have more adventure. In this one, I want to show you some of the reality side of things that are not so good that you probably didn't think about or didn't realize until you bought an RV or are planning on buying an RV.
Or after living in the RV.
Yeah, because there are a lot of those too. But to be honest, we had to think harder about what the negative things were for us. And everyone's experience will be different.
So let's get started.
Number one. The poo-poo tank.
He gets the job. You get the most important job.
The smelly job.
Living in a house or apartment, you don't need to worry about these things. You never care about that. But living in an RV, you need to regularly
clean your dump tank.
The poo-poo tank.
Yeah.
The black
Pretty
tank.
important. Unless you go to the RV park and poop all the time in the bathroom there.
Yeah. Every time when we kind of started to smell,
yeah,
especially in the hot summer, hey, your job.
If you're parked at an RV with a septic, you can leave your gray water tank for like your soaps, dishes, sink water, shower water. You can leave that tank open and let it flow out. So you don't necessarily have to maintain that one very much.
The gray tank.
The gray tank. But when you go to your black tank, that's a special tank for special honey. Yeah. And I'm not saying good smelling honey. Some people make a mistake of leaving that tank open, and which happens eventually is it dries out and you get a collection inside and it doesn't flush. So that's a problem. So what you got to do is you got to keep that tank closed, and when it gets close to the top, or when it gets to smelling really bad, which may be all the time in the summer, you have to flush that one. Yeah. It doesn't take that long, but it is a smelly job, and you want to know how to do it right, or it'll be a big, messy problem. The hose may flip off if you flush it too fast, and then you got honey all over your...
on the ground or even on your gloves.
And then you have to move to another spot. So what I do is when I'm getting ready to flush, the day before I normally shut the gray water tank, fill it up, and use that tank to flush the hose. And then I'll start to drain the gray water to get some vacuum going, and then I'll pull slowly the black water tank to flush the solids. I also then turn on the flush on the tank itself, which sprays inside to clean the walls out. And I also have a clear tube section that I can see the flow, and when the tank looks like it's clear, then I shut it off, put a little water in the bottom to keep it moist, and then I run the gray water tank hot to get lots of flow so it cleans the tube out. They're not really solids in our case because we don't have any paper going down the tank.
We dump the toilet paper
put it in a sealed trash can. The idea is then it all becomes liquefied. We put some Lysol in with that, and sometimes some softener.
Yeah, softener.
Which helps it smell a little better also, but you're breaking down the proteins so you have flowing honey. That's probably the baddest news maybe on RV.
Enough of a poo-poo talk. I don't want to hear poo-poo talk. I hope you're not eating now. Okay, let's move on to the number two.
Yeah, number two is a little bit better.
Yeah. Number two is that you need to fill up propane from
liquid
time to time.
Propane. Yeah. If you're heating with your gas only, and in the winter if it's cold, you can go through that tank, any size tank, in a couple of days, and it can cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because the insulation on RV is not very thick. It's usually about 2 inches. So we generally heat with our electric when we're at our base camp, and then when we're on the road, we're using our gas a lot more, especially when you're boondocking, because you're heating your water and you're heating your air with the propane and cooking. Yeah. So we have, I think, a 32 or 35 pound tank, and about twice a year, two or three times a year, we have to fill it up. But some people, I'll see if they're only using gas to heat, they're putting bottles out every couple of days, which can get quite taxing and expensive. So
Yeah.
that's a downside.
Yeah, when you need to get propane, you need to put all the slugs in and drive your
Right.
RV to get the propane. So that's another thing.
Unless
that-
you have portable bottles that you can bring
Yeah.
there, which some people do.
So
Also on those that are integrated, you can also put a T valve on there for portable bottles, but it'll only fill the main bottle up halfway because they regulate to a balanced level, so you may only get half the tank in the other bottle to be able to use it. Yeah.
So when we talk about the heat and cool,
Yeah,
that
number
brings
three.
to our number 3.
Yeah.
So when you live in an RV, because of the zinc wall,
Yeah.
the insulation is not very good.
Yeah.
So when the summer is
Doesn't
really
matter what
hot,
kind it is. Some are
No,
better than
yeah.
others, but they're all bad compared to a 6-inch wall on a
and
house.
the thing you will find is the temperature cannot never cool down. But in our case is here, sometimes it get up to 100 degree
Yeah.
C, but not C, sorry.
What?
Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And then so we find that even with our AC on, normally it's only get down to 80 degree.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit
We only have a
inside.
30 amp at our base camp, so we only use one 15,000 BTU unit. And you're going to want to start it a little early because it's hard to maintain
Yeah.
it that day.
Gets
If you're
hot.
living in a really hot climate, hopefully you have 50 amp and you can run 2 units at once, and that will help maintain it.
And you will find when it's really hot that the refrigerator cannot keep on
Yeah.
cooling down things, especially in the freezer.
Yeah, we have one of those Norcolds that is nice for boondocking because it uses LPG or electric, so you can switch it back and forth and it can do it automatically, but they generally don't cool as well. And when it's really hot, it's hard to keep ice cream cold. Unfortunately, we like ice cream. And you like hard ice cream, which is even
I
worse.
like really hard. So when it's summer, it's really.
You're really sad, aren't you?
Yeah, so how come my ice cream is so melty if it's in the freezer? And when it's winter, our winter is fine unless we are in the boondocking area.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
No,
our
no
basement area does heat some, so it stays pretty warm in there. But if you have a trailer, a TT, or a fifth wheeler, generally those basements or those bottom areas are colder and your pipes are going to freeze. This one, even the pipes can freeze. So then you have to, if you're in severe climates, you have to put insulation
you have
on the
to do
base,
the
the
winterizing,
winterizing
yeah.
base, with hay bales or something like that, and that's a little more work.
Yeah.
And number 4, you've got expenses in RVs, some more than others, depending on what you buy.
Yeah.
But you will have expenses. They're the normal ones: gas, diesel, propane, oil changes. But there can be
awning, and the
bigger ones, like
toppers,
we had to replace
and
our
the
awning,
generator and the
generator,
refrigerator.
yeah, and the ceiling, the roof may
Yeah,
leak. You have to reseal that. You have to re-clean it. So there is some maintenance.
So that's bringing us to number 5. When you travel with the RV, especially we are in a Class A, so normally you need
The towed.
you need a towed vehicle.
It's a kind of a joke in the RV community. They call them toads, like a frog, but it's T-O-W-E-D is how you would normally spell it. They will
You
call
need
it.
to tow a vehicle behind your RV when you are in Class A. But if you are in fifth wheel or
You need
TT,
a tow
you
vehicle,
need a tow
T-O-W.
vehicle. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like heavy duty
And those
truck.
can be
Yeah.
expensive
Yeah.
because you want mobility when you're parked, unless you're really small and you can't pull anything in a Class B or something like that. Then you're just taking the Class
Yes,
B.
Class B or C.
We have a motorcycle. We put on the back. It takes some time to put that on the back, but that's nice because it steers pretty well. But we're getting ready to get a towed vehicle.
G?
Probably a Jeep or something like that. I don't know. Which means now you got to hook that up. You can't back up when you have that connected. So that's a downside. But
You
it's
cannot pick up.
you didn't know
Is it
that?
tow
No.
vehicle? Really? You
Yeah,
cannot
because
pick
it
up?
it cannot steer. Yeah.
Huh.
Trailer you
know
can back
that.
up, but if it's a short trailer, you
No?
can't even back that up because your tow vehicle's too long.
Oh, so you can never make it to the wrong lane or something, or
To
road.
where?
If you miss the exit
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, we've had situations where our GPS was not updated, and it sent us down a county road, and like,
Gee.
oh no, we're 32,000 pounds. I don't know if these bridges are
with
goods.
a trailer in the back.
So we ended up doing a T-turn
T-turn.
in a pretty busy intersection. Luckily, it wasn't that busy. We had our trailer on at that point, and a 25-foot
feet.
cargo trailer, so we were 65 feet, yeah. And you know, when you haul more, you have more to haul, and sometimes that's a problem. So going down the road, it's a concern. Also, you know, you got to have a Class A license on a long rig or a Class B license.
Yeah, that's bringing us to the number 6. So if you are on a Class A, or if you are too long, depends what state you are in.
Right.
So check out the local DMV regulations.
We're in California. About half the states require licenses for some standard of weight or length. In California, you can't exceed 65 feet. And if you have a vehicle that you're towing, a trailer behind that you're towing, I believe it's over 10,000 pounds, you need a Class A license. If you have air brakes, you need, I believe, at least a Class B license in California. And if you're over a certain weight on your coach, you need a upgraded license. So you need to check in your state. It's only in the state you reside driver's license wise with. If you're near another state, you get pulled over, normally it's not an issue. But if you exceed like the length, you can get a ticket if you go off the highway. So be advised of that. If you're on a highway, normally it's not an issue, but that is a concern. And in DMVs, like in California, they are the worst. We've gone to 5 different DMVs. When we talked to their manager, they didn't know what license we needed because of our requirements. And then you have to have a chauffeur driver driving your RV to the skills test for the driving test. And it's just very difficult. So most people are going to give up.
The next one we find every summer, we have to fight with
ants. Is this number 7?
Yeah, number 7. So it's not lucky 7.
Not lucky 7.
So every summer we had to fight with ants a lot. So when you live in RV, you find it's really annoying to have ants everywhere in the summertime.
They can really invade the little sugar ants.
Yeah, they usually go out with the pipeline or in the
cable,
front, the cable
or your
or
pipe
the tires
or a tire.
everywhere.
They'll find any little hole.
Every summer, first summer was not so bad.
Yeah.
But every summer gets
worse.
That? I don't know why.
They didn't know we were here yet, I guess.
No, I don't know, but maybe it's getting hotter and hotter every summer. When we live in apartments,
we didn't have an issue
or
as much.
House, we don't have that issue.
I don't know why.
We live here almost 4 years now. Every summer we have to fight with the ants. But good thing is we found a solution.
Yeah, I see them.
You see the
Where
ants? They are right here. Here. Don't know where are they coming from. Oh, so many here.
Okay, ant killer, what should we do?
So the first time we have ants in the RV, I was like freaking out. What did we try?
Oh, we use those ant killer.
The standard ant killer from the store. Yeah, it was not working at all. And then so we look up online and we found this thing at RV'r ant. And we tried a few times already. So far it works really, really well. But we have to be careful because we have a doggy, so we cannot put the bed anywhere that he can reach. This is the things by far we try and it works pretty good. So how do we do it? Put this bait on a piece of paper as flat as you can find, so easier for them to climb or find the food. We have to find where are they coming from. I'm going to put underneath the driver's seat. Where is you see the paste? One is on the paper now. Okay. 2 ants are eating right now. So they will get more and more their friends here. And if there's a one on or couple ants on, they will send a signal to tell everybody in the family, hey, I found some sweet stuff here. You just leave the bed here. And
they have a little ant party, let me tell you. They get all drunk and wild. It's entertaining. Eventually they die, and sometimes we'll have to just fog the RV because they're so bad and you can't get rid of them.
Yeah, sure.
But you have to get your pets out if you fog it because it will kill them.
Yeah, last summer was so bad. We had to fog it.
Yeah, it was so bad.
The next one, number 8, we find
8.
It can be a little noisy when you live in RV because we are really close to your neighbors. And in our lot, it's not too bad. We have 6 slices, so we actually have some distance from neighbors. It's not too bad. But when you travel, campsite is really one next to each other, so
If they're really tight,
you can really hear your neighbors.
Yeah. And also, when you're
noise.
going down the road, you're going to be pulling over to truck stops and rest stops. And you're going to be sleeping, and it's a little weird at first. Remember the first night we slept in the RV? We ended up going to a Target, and we were right by the freeway, and that was our first time we'd ever done that. That was so weird.
That was the first
we
night
felt
we
like
pick up
we
our
were
RV.
trespassing, right? You know, but they allow it in some of the Targets and Walmarts and others. So that leads us to number 9.
In our case, we have a Class A. It's a little bit harder to drive in the beginning. To you.
How about to you?
I have never tried to drive our RV yet. I'm a little bit afraid of this big monster.
We'll have debates on this all day long. Some people say this is better to drive than that. But in general, a trailer is harder to drive, especially in wind and in ice, because or coming down grades, you're braking and the trailer's trying to push you forward and it jackknifes on you.
We
like
can
that.
show a funny video that we saw, the Red Bull trailer race video.
Yeah, Red Bull trailer races. Those are really funny.
You will see what happens if you have a trailer in the back, and if you drive fast, what will happen.
Fifth wheelers are generally, if you have a good tow vehicle, especially a dually rear on the pickup truck, fifth wheelers will drive pretty good, but in the wind they cannot track as well, and they tend to not brake as well unless you have really good brakes. On our Class A, getting used to being where you are in the lane is an adjustment. But once you get used to it, it's actually quite a comfortable ride. You've got pretty good brakes. They don't brake as well as a car on any of the RVs. Much heavier than a regular car, and crazy drivers all over these big cities. You have to be careful. Just give them room. So just know though that driving an RV is a little more demanding than a car.
And then now the last thing we find that we don't like about RV living.
Number 10.
Yeah, at the first, when you are living in an apartment or house, you have all the lights on, when you have an AC on, when you have a heater on, so you can use a hair dryer, no problem. You don't need to think about everything. So that's a mentality I brought into this RV living. So when I ready to dry my hair, I turn the hair dryer on, and then next second, power is out.
Breaker went out. Power is out. You have to manage your power. You got batteries. If you're boondocking, you got to manage that power. That's good and bad. You have to maintain your batteries. But when you're like blow drying your hair or you have the microwave on, you may need to turn off the heater or air conditioner if it's electric, especially when you have a 30 amp shoreline power breaker.
50 amp, no problem.
Yeah,
right?
It's not such a big deal with 50 amps. When it goes out, you don't know where it goes out. It could be the shoreline, it could be...
How long took you to figure out?
A couple times. It takes a little time. It could be a fuse, it could be the breaker.
And we just reset, isn't it?
Yeah, we just had to reset it.
In our case, we just reset it.
Yeah.
So you just need to make sure that you turn off
the inverter AC. Was the issue. The inverter had to recycle, then it was fine.
Yeah.
You eventually save money because you're not using as much power. So it can be bad, but it also can be good.
Yeah, so this is the 10 thing we have to think very hard to come up with these things that
it's
we
not
don't
really
like
terrible.
about RV.
It's manageable. You just have to be aware of it.
Yeah, you have to learn from the experience. That's those things we learn from our experience.
And we're hoping our life stories will help you when you get started, especially as newbies on your RVs and your RV living. But enjoy the journey, enjoy the floating life, because it can be really an adventure that you'll have memories of.
Yeah, I think still the plus side more than negative
Absolutely.
Side of RV living. That's why we are still loving it after almost 4 years now, and then we never think about going back.
Right.
Well, in the beginning I had, but now I don't. So we really enjoy our RV life here, and then we still need to share the reality of RV living. So you know, before you move into RV or start your RV living, so you know what situation you might encounter, and you know the solution, how to fix it, right? So we thank you for watching this video.
Give us a thumbs up if you would. If you like this video, it really helps our YouTube channel out.
Share this video to your friends,
Yeah.
RV'ers,
And
everybody.
you probably have some questions on things that you are not sure if they're good or bad if you're going to start RVing. So
Comment down below.
give us a comment down below and we'll give you some feedback if we can help you out with that or point you to others that can.
And also check out our Patreon community, and we will share some secret things videos that we don't make it public to the YouTube channel, so you will never see it here. So once again we thank you for subscribing our channel and supporting us in any way.
See you next time on La Vie Flottante, the floating life. Bye.